What can you do in 5 minutes that will save you money? More than you might think.
Hi, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we talk about practical frugality.
If you think that frugal hacks all take a lot of time, then hold on to your hat.
We're about to give you 50 of them, and none of them take any longer than 5 minutes.
Let's get started. Hack number 1, check your bank account. Why should you do this? Because when you regularly check your bank account, you can immediately know if there's been anything fraudulent that has been charged on your bank account. You can look at your spending patterns and habits and immediately determine where you are spending too much money.
Buy generic. Remember, most generic items are made by major manufacturers, so you're getting as good a quality as you would if you were paying full price.
Tell us in the comment section, do you believe that? Do you believe that generic products these days are made in the same assembly lines by the same major manufacturers? It's just that there's a different label put on the product. Tell us what you think.
Another thing you can do really helps is to inventory your perishables. And this is Hope and I going through that process.
Let's run through the basics of what your perishable food inventory is going to look like using my perishable food that I just took out of my refrigerator as our example. One of the things that you'll notice is I have a lot, and I'm doing a lot of perishable food right now. And that's because Aldi's was having some amazing deals. We have 4 bags, 4 5-pound bags of red potatoes. Each one of those bags of potatoes was $1.89. They had cabbage, green cabbage, because it was St. Patrick's Day. I got 4 heads of cabbage. They also had carrots, 2-pound bags of carrots for 99 cents. And I did have some squash. I've got like 6 teeny tiny potatoes left over. And then I've got an acorn squash and this squash. I'm going to cook these together and use them in the same recipe because even though they're not the same kind of squash, it is close enough. And then finally, we have a couple of spaghetti squash that have been sitting on my counter for a long time, like since fall. They're still good, but I need to use them up. And finally, I've got some yellow onions. Perishable food inventory, guys. You're going to fill out a perishable food inventory every week. I do it every single Thursday. That inventory is going to be what? That's right. It is going to be prioritized. And that means the items with the shortest shelf life are going to go all the way at the top of your list because it's going to remind you to use them up first. Tip number 4, while you have your food out of your refrigerator and you're inventorying it, that is the perfect time to pull the fridge out. You should do this once every 4 months or so. Pull it out from the wall, give it a good vacuum in the back, make sure that you've cleaned off those coils that are often in the back of the refrigerator. That allows the motor to run less and under less stress and strain, meaning that ultimately it will help save you on your energy costs. Push it back, not all the way back against the wall. It needs to breathe just a little bit. And then go ahead and take time and wipe down all of the shelves inside the refrigerator before you put your perishables back in. Menu planning. It does not take as long as you think that it will. Larry's going to set a timer on his watch and give me a 5-minute countdown. When his watch goes off, my time is up. We're going to see how much I can get planned in exactly 5 minutes. You ready, Larry?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Ready?
Start.
All right, we're starting. The spaghetti squash, we're going to cook both of these spaghetti squash at the same time. We're going to roast them in the oven with about 2.5 pounds of these red potatoes. And we're going to throw both of these squash in at the same time. Whenever you roast in your oven, I want you to make sure that it's full. After these are cooked, we're going to let them cool. We're going to set aside about 3 cups of it. We're going to cut it up really finely. We're going to use it in, first recipe, a big batch of vegetable soup. The rest of this is going to go into spaghetti squash fritters. Moving on, I'm going to use some of these carrots and I'm going to make carrot dogs. I'm going to cut up some of this cabbage, but before I do that, all the large leaves on the outside of the cabbage are going to be set aside. We're going to blanch them. We're going to fill them with a mixture of rice and lentils, and they're going to be stuffed cabbage rolls. The rest of it, we're going to cut up the rest of a head of cabbage, and we're going to make some cabbage slaw for later in the week. We're going to use these potatoes in with the vegetable soup. We're going to use these in with a curried squash soup, which we're going to use this as the base for the curry squash soup. We're going to once again use 2.5 more pounds of these potatoes, and we're going to make a a potato salad to go with our spaghetti squash fritters when we do those. And we are also going to cut up carrot sticks and celery sticks to use those for later in the week. And and some more of this cabbage is going to go for cabbage soup. And I think I just did it. I think I came up with 3 main dishes, 3 soups, 3 salads. Oh, and 1 side dish. 2.5 pounds of these are going to be roasted in the oven, and we're going to smash them after they are cooled. We're going to put them into the air fryer until they're all crispy on the edges. So good, guys. There you go. How much time did I use, Larry?
2 minutes, 2 seconds.
There you go. 2 minutes, 2 seconds, guys. And my entire menu plan is planned for the week. Ta-da! And that's how you do menu planning. Vegan stew. Guys, I didn't say in the menu plan, but I still had plenty of time left. Some of the red potatoes are going to go into a vegan stew along with some of these carrots. And if I can get a really great deal on some fresh button mushrooms, mwah, stew just needs mushrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Cut up vegetables and freeze them before they go bad. That way you'll get a lot longer life out of those.
Tip number 7, make vegetable broth. It doesn't take very long. I always have a freezer bag in my freezer that is filled with all of the scraps from my vegetables. This can include the root end as well as some leaves, cores, things like that. Even the stems, the tough inside stems from herbs, I put those in there too because they will give a little bit of that herby flavor to the vegetable broth. Once that bag is full, I'm going to put it into my pressure cooker, just cover it with water, pressure cook it for 17 minutes, let that naturally release, and then pour it into some sort of a colander so that just the vegetable broth goes through and the vegetable scraps that are left over are left in the colander, and then let it cool, put it in freezer bags. And usually I do it in 4 cups. You can do 2 cups if you feel like you generally use a little less vegetable broth than that.
Instead of ordering takeout food, go through your refrigerator and clean it out of items that you have saved in there. I'm amazed at how many times Hope can go in and find small amounts of things, bring them all together, and make one huge dish that we really enjoy.
This is our example of takeout food. Because you take it out of the refrigerator. Tip number 9, if you feel like you are bored of making the same thing all the time, or you're just spending way too much time in the kitchen cooking recipes, then Google this. Easy 3-ingredient crock pot dump recipes. It's amazing. You'll be surprised. You'll find a lot of inspiration there and a lot of items that are only going to just take you 3 ingredients to make a main dish meal or a side dish.
Crack open that cookbook that's sitting on your shelf. It's amazing how many good recipes you can find in there for your family.
These are my 2 new fave cookbooks. One of our viewers from Canada, Jenny, sent these to me when I broke my arm. This is from Plant Based on a Budget. If you've never checked out her website or her cookbooks, make sure that you do. I'm going to leave a link for her website, guys, in the description of the video. She cooks and thinks like I do about food. She is brilliant at taking those low-cost ingredients and making amazing recipes. Plant Based on a Budget. Check it out. Number 11. If you look at a room and organizing the whole room just seems really overwhelming to you, then don't organize the whole room. Pick a shelf or a closet space or a drawer. Organize a much smaller area. You will find, yes, it takes you about 5 minutes or so to organize that area. And then you can always look at that one area of the room that is perfectly organized. If you look around the room and get really bummed because it's messed up, only focus on that one area. Slowly make your way around the perimeter of the room. As you do that, you will see more and more and more space in the room that is organized.
Plan a saving challenge. It doesn't take an awful lot of effort to look around your house and see something that you need to save for. It only takes about, like we said, 5 minutes.
But we should say, don't just plan the challenge. We want to make sure that you have it as a goal, which means it's going to be smart and it's going to have a time limitation on it. You're going to know exactly what you're saving for, the amount of time you're going to save, and how much money. Once you plan that, make sure, and we always say this, print it out, Put it where you can see it, and you should be tracking your progress.
Plan a no-spend weekend. Now that's the case where you cut down any unnecessary spending. You spend just what you absolutely have to, and you save some money.
What is really fun about no spend weekends is the idea of doing this, and this is the next tip, is to find ways in your area and places that you can have fun without spending any money. You will be really surprised how much fun you can have without spending a dime.
Tip number 14 is substitute water for a more expensive drink. And while you're at it, go ahead and track how many glasses of water you're drinking every day so that you're drinking the right amount that your body needs.
The one thing that we have found is super helpful for this is we have one of those water containers.
Yeah.
It's like a thermos.
Yeah.
And we know how many ounces of water that is. It's 32 ounces. Yeah. We can fill it twice a day and know that we've gotten our 64 ounces in. So something like that really helps you know, because otherwise, I don't know if you're like me, but I lose track. How many glasses of water was this? You won't have to worry about that if you're only drinking from that one water thermos.
Read an article or a blog post.
Yeah, go ahead and center that blog post around something that involves frugality or personal finance or saving money, budgeting, personal budgeting. And it really doesn't take any more than 5 minutes to find and read a short article. But you'll be surprised throughout the week how many new ideas, strategies, tips, tidbits that you can pick up just simply by taking that 5 minutes a day and reading an article.
Check online to see what's happening at your local public library. And if you don't have an active library card, now is a good time to go to the library and get one. It is amazing how much money you can save by taking advantage of the resources at your own public library.
The next tip is while you're at the library, go ahead and pick up a hard copy of events happening in your library. A lot of times they'll have little one page or a multiple page little booklet that tells what sort of programs that you can attend for free at your public library that month.
While you're at the library, reserve or check out some books on frugality or personal finances.
George Campbell's book, my new read. Have you guys read it? Tell me in the comments section. Now, once you've made that list of free events coming up in your area, you'll want to go ahead and register for those events. And often you can get that done within that 5-minute time span. We mentioned this because Larry and I just attended this week a free luncheon and a discussion on how to avoid online fraud. It was put on through our local credit union.
Really good. Text a friend and invite them over for coffee or something else. Enjoy some free time together.
And this would be instead of meeting them for lunch or coffee or dinner out at a restaurant. Tip number 20, make a list of your monthly bills and how much each of those bills costs you on average. Now, a lot of those monthly bills will be subscriptions, and you'll find that that is a specific cost every single month. Multiply that monthly cost by 12 and you'll find out in a hurry how much that subscription is actually costing you every single year out of your budget. It is an eye-opening experience to do this and doesn't take long to get it all down on paper.
If you're paying every month for your insurance premium, you might check with your insurance company and see if you can pay that annually. We ended up doing that and saving 8% by paying it annually instead of every month.
Tip number 22, cancel a membership or a monthly subscription that you aren't really using to its fullest extent in the first place. Canceling subscriptions is just one of 10 ways that we radically reduced our expenses when we were saving for great big financial goals. Now, if you want to know the other 9 ways that we cut our expenses, I wrote an ebook called 10 Ways to Radically Reduce Your Expenses. I give you step-by-step instructions and also checklists in the ebook. It's free. You will find a link to request it in the description of this video.
Call your bank and ask about current rates on CDs. We did this and just renewed one of ours.
5%, guys. That's pretty good. And while you're on the phone with your bank, you'll want to go ahead and set up automatic bill pay through your bank or your credit union. You can also do online bill pay where you can go in and manually tell them every month which bills to pay and the arrival date that needs to happen for each of those bills. We've done this for years. Just make sure before you set it up if there are any hoops to jump through. For instance, for a long time through our credit union, we had to use our debit card at least twice a month. Otherwise, they charged us $4.95. So if anything like that exists, make sure you know before you sign on the dotted line and follow through with exactly what you need to do to keep it free.
Check with your bank while you've got them on the phone and see if you can set up separate accounts for your sinking funds. These are major accounts where you're saving a lot of money to pay off your property taxes or to pay off your car insurance, different things, whatever it happens to be. Check with your bank to set up those accounts.
And once you get the account set up, the next thing you're going to want to do is automate it. Anything that you can automate, the money that you don't see is the money that you don't spend. So if your bank or credit union will transfer from your main account to those sub accounts, that is super helpful if they will automatically do it for you.
Check around for a cheaper cell phone plan. Now, Hope and I and our family love using Mint Mobile. We've discovered we're saving a lot of money. For the amount of money that we're putting several on, that's what we used to pay just to have Hope on one account on her cell phone.
Yeah, you want more information about Mint Mobile? We're going to leave our affiliate link, guys, in the description of the video. Now remember, all of the tips that we are giving you in this video take 5 minutes or less. So these are not tips that are going to take you a large amount of time. You know something else that won't take you much time? Scrolling up and hitting that like button on this video, because that will help us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you aren't subscribed to Under the Median, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button. Step number 28 is specifically for those of you who are having trouble keeping within a tight grocery budget. Get out an envelope and stuff that envelope with all of the money that you will spend for groceries that month. Using a cash pay envelope is the one way that we have always been able to bring our grocery budget back into alignment if it gets a little bit out of whack.
And the other thing that will help with this is make a very specific plan of what you're going to buy at the grocery store. So you're not just running out of that cash in that envelope real fast. You're going to make it last all the way to the end of the month in a way that works for your family.
Sometimes frugality can get to feel like a little bit of a drag, and that was when we recommend the next step, which is number 29. Write down 3 things that you are grateful for. Yes. These are things that are encouraging, exciting, things which are going right. Because what happens is otherwise we begin to shift our focus to everything that is not going quite the way we would like it to go, meaning that it shades everything and the whole way that we feel about our financial journey toward the negative. This will bring it directly back to the positive, and it will help you to make greater strides with less frustration when it comes to your financial goals.
And right along with that, find someone else that you can bless by sharing what you've saved and the extras that you have with somebody less fortunate. Absolutely. It's such a blessing. It's a blessing to them, but it's also a blessing to you.
Tip number 31, find and install a browser extension or an app that will help you with saving money. Now, we have several that we really, really like. Fetch, we use it all the time. You upload receipts, get points for those receipts, and then you can redeem those points eventually for gift cards. We also love Rakuten. It's probably our favorite, guys. Rakuten will look for coupon codes at checkout, and it will also allow you to earn simultaneously cash back when you make purchases. It allows you to, in essence, double dip because you get to take advantage of the coupons and you also get the cash back. We've used it for years. Love, love, love Rakuten. We'll make sure, once again, guys, there'll be links for these in the video description.
Write down 10 ways you can save money in the next month. This is very productive, and it really doesn't take too long. Go through areas in your budget that need a little adjusting, a little help, and write those down and meet those on the following month.
One place that you might want to write these 10 inspirational ways to save money that you've discovered in your brainstorming session is to write them down on what we call our Frugal inspiration sheet. Keep it somewhere where you can see it, like on your refrigerator. And then when you feel like you've just run out of ways that you can be frugal and ways that you can save money, you can look at that sheet right on your refrigerator and gain new inspiration. And remember, nope, I haven't done everything. There are still new ways to save.
unplug 5 items that you have plugged in right now around your house so that they're not drawing phantom power. If you don't want to unplug them, because that takes a little effort to unplug and plug back in, I find it easier to put them into a power strip, and then you just turn the power strip off. I have a power strip that actually has separate buttons for each item, so I can just isolate a couple if I want to run the other things. And I do have a TV and a receiver that both use remote controls. Anything that uses a remote control will be using phantom power in order to be ready to be activated by that control unit.
And phantom power, yes, it really does make a difference in your energy consumption, and it makes a difference ultimately on your monthly energy bill. Here's something else that does this, is often overlooked and underappreciated, but that is walk through your house and turn off all the lights that were left on in rooms that no one is sitting in.
In relation to those 2 tips, you can unscrew light bulbs that are in a multi-light fixture. We have a fixture in our kitchen that uses 3 light bulbs. Well, I don't need all 3 all the time. Sometimes just 1 is good enough, so I'll unscrew the other 2 and just use 1 bulb at about 7 watts.
Tip number 37, a lot of people don't know about this. The standard temperature, which is factory set on your hot water heater, is generally 140 degrees. Now, not only does it raise your energy bill because you're heating up to 140 degrees, but that temperature of water is actually dangerous, especially if you have young people in your home. It can scald them, or heck, even if you're older people, it could scald you. All you need to do is turn it down generally to the next lowest setting, which should be around 120 degrees. That's still plenty hot, but it will save your energy from heating up that extra 20 degrees.
In relation to that water, take 5-minute showers. 5-minute showers is about all you need to take. All you need to do is rinse, put some soap on, scrub up, rinse that off, and you're done. Showers just don't take a lot of time. 5 minutes is plenty of time to take a good, thorough shower.
One of our viewers said that you have to choose a peppy song. You put a peppy song on knowing that when the song is over, you should be out of the shower. So yeah, it's got to be like, and it keeps you moving. Like, it makes you shower faster if you're listening to faster music. So tip from our viewer.
Put a brick in your toilet tank. Now, we used to have really old toilets at our old house. They were large tanks. We would actually put a gallon of water, a water jug that was a gallon large. We'd fill that with water, put that in the tank, and believe it or not, there was enough water even with that in there to flush our toilet. So if you don't need as much water as your tank is coming with, go ahead and put something in it to take up that room. Newer tanks are pretty efficient, and you probably don't want to do that if you have a pretty new toilet.
Turn your thermostat up or down. Now, of course, this depends on the season.
Yeah.
So in the summertime, you'll turn your AC setting up, and in the wintertime, you're going to turn your thermostat down. In general, for each degree you turn it up or down, each degree amounts to an additional 1 to 3% off of your final bill for the next billing cycle. We have experimented with this using that single tip as the extra thing that we added to our energy savings program and ideas. And we found that in general, for each degree that we move that thermostat, it saved us 2% on the next month's bill. Now, of course, another caveat would be if it's nice enough outside, just turn the furnace off.
Yeah, by all means. By all means, open your windows up and get some fresh air while you're at it. Tip number 41 is to pre-pack snacks if you're going to work and you are tempted by the machines there to buy some snacks. If you've already pre-planned, you've packaged something, you took it with you, you don't need to be spending that money of many, many coins in those machines.
Number 42, it'll take 5 minutes or less to chop up a head of cabbage or a head of lettuce, wash it, put it into bags, and then that's going to be the base for your salads for the week.
It's interesting. I started chopping carrots and celery to take to church for our Bible study. And what we don't eat there, I take back home. And it's so handy to have that in the refrigerator as a snack. For one, it's good for you. And two, it's fast.
It is better than what I generally grab when I'm hungry.
Me too.
Tip number 44, you're going to pour your pot of coffee that you make in the morning into a thermos to keep it warm and at drinking temperature all day long instead of leaving it on that heated hot plate, which is in your coffee pot. Tip 45, it should take you 5 minutes or less to list one item for sale. Now you can use Facebook Marketplace, eBay, any other place, but if you don't do those things, let's just say you're like, I don't sell on Facebook, I don't do eBay, that's okay. I want you to send out an email to your friends and family and say, hey, we're going through the house. We found this. We don't use it anymore. We've got it for sale. If you'd like it, let me know. Or if you know someone who might be interested in this, pass it on to them. You can sell an amazing amount of stuff by that one simple move.
Unsubscribe from retailer emails. If you're not tempted by what you see in your email inbox, then you won't be spending money you don't have.
Tip 48, we call this your so that. You're going to
Yeah.
make a list of the reasons that you really want to save money. Is it because you're not laying in bed at night worrying about the weight emotionally and physically all those bills have taken on you and you're getting rid of that worry and that frustration every single month? That is your so that. It's your why.
Yeah.
And that will keep you moving forward every single month.
Tip 49, make some encouraging quotes. Write them down and post them around your house. That will help you to be encouraged to continue to do what you're doing.
Right. This is my visual aid. This is my encouraging statement for this week. I literally just made this morning. I am human. I will never be perfect. That's okay. For those of you who are, a little bit perfectionistic, as am I, then something like this is going to help you when you see it and you realize that you made a mistake. And it doesn't mean that you're inept. It doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't mean you failed. It means that you are what? You are human and you just made a mistake. And you get back up on your feet, you try again.
When you're doing laundry, make sure that you're putting in a full load into your washer that you'll then either move into your dryer or hang outside or around your basement, whichever you prefer to do. But by putting in a full load, you're going to be saving money because your washer goes through the same amount of work to wash a 1/3 load as it does a full load. It does use a little bit more water on a full load, but it's worth it because you're going to save electricity by doing that. Yeah.
And if you can do it in cold water, even better.
bet.
And please remember, this is something that most people do not know. You do not have to use the amount of laundry detergent that detergent manufacturer tells you have to use. You need somewhere between 1 and 2 tablespoons of detergent, especially if you have a newer HE washing machine. It does not take that much detergent. In fact, if you use too much detergent, we discovered this when we upgraded to an HE unit. We were using too much detergent and we had white streaks, like on black jeans and stuff, there were white streaks. I Googled it and it said, you're using too much detergent. Cut back on the detergent. The tips we're giving you on this video are like overall tips that cover a lot of different areas of your budget and frugality. But let's just say that your grocery budget is your sticking point, and it is for many people right now. If you'd like 50 tips specifically about how to save money at the grocery store, we did a video on that and it's right over there.